The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Leadership Podcast. It is yet another edition of The Big Issue. And of course, the big issue still takes us to the political landscape in the country where one would actually not know where to start from. Is it the turnout of presidential aspirants? The harvest is much.
Quite much.
Before you hear one is declaring, the other person is declaring, until every household will have a presidential aspirant ahead of the 2023 presidential election. Oh well, as usual, my name is George Agba. I'm your regular host, and of course, with me here in the studio, our in-house analyst. We have Chibuzo Kaibe and Sunday Isua.
It's nice to be here.
And of course, the big issue for the day is the rotational presidency, where for the northern part of the country and the southern part, the gloves are off. The All Progressive Congress and the People's Democratic Party appear to be in a fix over the raging feud between the northern and the southern parts of the country over zoning of the 2023 presidency. And of course, the chairman of the Southern Governors Forum, an Ondo State Governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, alongside some other key stakeholders in the Nigerian project, on Monday warned the APC of the plot to zone its 2023 presidential ticket to the north. Other prominent Nigerians at the forefront speaking against the plot include Senator Ali Ndume, a foremost Labour leader, Comrade Frank Kokori. They all say the plot constitutes a threat to the delicate balance of the country. The public outrage followed the declaration by the national chairman of the APC, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, that the party had not zoned its ticket to the south. And of course, the presidential convention of the party is expected to hold this month on the 30th of May. And of course, we see a situation where the South is receiving support from even some key stakeholders from the North. But some persons in the North, especially the Elders Forum, are insisting on retaining the president, even as some Northern elders, powerful politicians, are saying the presidency should be thrown open. Former Senate President Bukola Saraki, governors of Bauchi and Sokoto State, had attempted to pick a northern consensus candidate for the PDP, though the arrangement failed. Well, Chibuzo, these are all in the news there, but the issue at stake here is why the power shift to the south. It's been contentious. It's because certain politicians from the north are desperate to become president. It is not just even about the northern southern thing. It's about individuals. Of course, you see what Saraki and the governors Bala Mohammed and Aminu Tambowadi, and then they were even getting support from some northern elders, although that threw confusion in the camp of the northern elders, where they now start disowning themselves. So, but why is the North fixated in having the presidency after 8 years of Buhari?
Well, it's really tough to, how do I put it now, to gauge the mindset of the North on this matter, because we've also seen Northerners also say this thing has to go to the South. So it might not be totally correct to say it is the position of the North.
The entire North,
The entire
especially.
North, no. Because we've also had voices saying that it should go to the South. I think it's just a case of a few people within the North, believing that the concept of zoning should no longer apply. And if you watch the narrative that has, particularly from the Northern Elders Forum, the narrative has been more of the North, in fact, a number of narratives. First, they said, oh, they need somebody who understands the challenges in the part of the country they are from, mostly the Northwest, because of the banditry and security crisis. Then later they emphasized the place of competence and all of that, and then later it became a question of numbers, you know. But this thing has come about because of the push of the debate between northern elders and southern elders. So all of these narratives, have defined this whole thing. But I think it took a new dimension because all of that debate was mainly focused on events within the PDP. However, with the comments by the APC national chairman, I think it gave a different dimension to the whole discourse. Because before now, um, the impression had always been, oh, this call for power rotation is more, um, except more, is louder within the PDP because of the nature of how the party handled the rotation, the death of Yaradua, and Jonathan's emergence, and all of that. But in APC, it was almost a given that the party was going to go to the south. But when the APC chairman made that statement, it sent a different signal across board, and so you could see the reaction from Akeredolu. Now, one would have said, okay, maybe the APC chairman was trying to fly, was trying to be circumspect about where they want to zone the ticket to, down south. So perhaps that was why he made that statement. But when you get reactions from people like Akeredolu, who has been at the forefront of this power rotation to the south within the APC, and other comments by the likes of Ali Ndume and co, then it shows you that it gives a clear indication that such a statement should not be taken lightly
because there's something they know that
exactly
might not know.
Exactly. And so we saw other reactions also coming. So I think it's something that has really given the discussion a different dimension, especially when people put it within the context of, okay, APC is watching out for what PDP is going to do zoning before they take their own step. Because there's this feeling that if they go north and they go south, there's a likelihood that the north is going to vote massively for any northern candidate. And so if PDP does that, it puts them on the back. That is the thinking. But others will tell you, even if PDP does that, in this country we've had the southern candidate defeat a northern candidate. Hands down. It has happened in the past, so that shouldn't be an issue.
Abiola was a southern candidate.
Exactly.
Who won, and the most they say most of the votes he got massively was from from Kano.
We also had the same situation with Jonathan. Jonathan defeated Buhari. You understand? Yes. Oshiba Obasanjo also did same. So this notion of they bring a northern candidate and we bring a southern candidate, it might be difficult for them. I don't think it really, that makes any sense. Because again, all of that is still within this spectrum of speculation. But with the comment made by the party chairman, APC party chairman, at this point you can't dismiss anything.
Yes, but you are right, Jules. But if you look at it within the context of how they think, especially just now, like you just said it clear, that is what is playing out. The major parties in the country are being careful, and of course they are watching themselves, matching themselves strength for strength, width for width, to actually outreach each other based on the decisions they make, and especially on the idea of zoning. You see, it becomes so crucial for them because they feel that any decision they take on zoning might make or mar the party. Because in their Sabbath declaration, the governors from the south said powers must shift to the south for equity and fair play after 8 years. But you see, it is this fear being lost by the major political party about zoning the ticket, their presidential ticket, to either north or south. And then they say the fear is that the party that zones to the north might have an upper hand. Some Nigerians, especially those of the southern extraction, believe that it is the reason why some northern politicians are thwarting that order of the zoning arrangement, because they feel they are in advantage position in the country where the north, when it comes to the voting strength, they have the upper hand. But Isua, just like what Chibuzo has just said, is it really possible that the north still holds the ace when it comes to who decides the president of the country?
No. In Nigerian politics, things have changed. What happened before it's not longer happening. But for the game that is going on between the PDP and the APC, it is a game where political parties want to get more money. No political party will want to announce that, okay, we are zoning this office to this place so that people from the other side will not buy forms. Forms in APC for the presidency is 100 million. And so if you begin to say that, okay, we have zoned it to the south, now, how many millions have they generated from the north? They wouldn't have, seen that kind of money.
The likes of Fayemi and Osumole that is declaring at the moment wouldn't have come out. And see, Senator Bikunle Amosun is declaring tomorrow. So there's more money for the party.
Yes.
Especially when there are feelers from the party that the party is broke. That after the caretaker committee, they had moved NWC came and met an empty treasury.
They had to do another.
So the issue is that they are not just, shifting this their real decision is not for nothing. They want to generate more money because you can't tell me that Abdullah Adamu will leave the Senate just to come here to be APC chairman to serve the party. Because he has a lot of people that are also depending on him,
of course,
and all that. So his constituency will begin to say, okay, why did you leave that seat for this thing? What is our benefit? So he is there not just to make sure that the party survive, but to raise more money for the party. And you can see that from the announcement of the sales of form. Even though I'm not happy with their decision, I'm not happy with the amount they fixed in that issue of forms, because it will, it will make politics in Nigeria to be very expensive. But the issue is that they want to generate more money. And on the issue whether the North can decide the 2023 general election or not, no, there is nothing like North. Politics is quite different. The North was won, but the votes were not for the same issue or for the same candidate. It has never been like that. And now the vote, the North is divided like never before. This issue of insecurity, we are just looking at it peripherally. A lot of people are angry with some leaders, some of their leaders, that they have not been able to protect their people. So if you have been telling them, okay, to support your candidate, and you cannot be able to protect them, then you think that you will go back and tell them to support your candidate and they will still do it. So that is why the issue of North, honestly, the North Central are also saying that it's time for them to produce a president. So if it is about grouping, you can see that the North is divided, because even the Northeast have their own interest for the presidency. The Northwest, where Buhari is from, they also have their own interest. So the North is not one, and there is no way the North will be one, because we have divergent views, we have different interests. People have their own interests. Because before now, some imams in Kaduna, we are even the one campaigning for Osinbajo to run for the presidency. So how can you compare that? You understand? So we have different groups. Ndume is now championing for Amechi, that is in the Northeast. Tambuwal want to be president from the Northwest, where Buhari is from. So the interests are different, and people are just pushing to see how, whatever that happens, let our interests
be protected. And then you now see Ndume talking of injustice when he told you not zoning president, because at the end of the day, he's the DG of the Amechi campaign organization. Well, let's just quickly take a short break and we'll be back. But before we do that, we expect that Avias will contribute constructively to the conversation on the big issue. Don't go offline, we'll be back in a moment.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158 Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Welcome back. We are still on the big issue in Leadership Podcast. And of course, the big issue is rotational presidency, where for the North and South, the globe seems to be off over the contention of where the presidency of the country should go to in 2023. Chibuzo, as we are talking, you see, there are people who are saying that the only reason the North is grandstanding is because the South is not united. They argue that it is a phantom claim and a ruse that nobody can be president without support from the corner. What do you think about that?
Well, I think Ishmael made a couple of points as to what is the tussle for influence and tussle for interest in the Northern Bloc. In any case, there is no way anybody can become president without every part of the country contributing to it. I think that is basic. So this grandstanding about without us,
this thing we are saying, even the middle belt itself is very large in the North.
So
if they come with one voice, they can displace.
So when you say
The
corner,
corner.
I was even confused. The corner, if you want to calculate the corner, who are the corner? The corner is just the northwestern state. And in northwestern state, if you want to remove the votes of Southern Kaduna, that's over 2 million votes. If you go to Southern KB, how many million votes will you remove? So if you begin to talk about all these corners, you get confused. Is it the northeast that you want to call corner? They are tribal people. You understand? So they have their own plan. Sorry for interrupting.
No. It's a robust discussion.
It helps.
It's a discussion that you can chip in to really,
So the issue of corner, I don't see a place like corner because sometimes most of these votes that you see people, bringing out from places they call corners, they are not actually the real votes. Just take a look at the continuous voters registration, which is online. Just check some of the states that people were not registering before. They now have the highest population of registered voters. So, and if this electoral process is digitalized, you will now see more participation from people because it's about comfort.
Exactly.
They used to talk about this issue of corner. Yes, people come out from the corner because of their level of education. They don't have businesses to do. So on the day of election, they can stay there from morning to evening. So you can't tell an Igbo man who have a business to do to stay from morning to evening. And that's why we have to make the process easier. So that you are doing an election, it do not stop businesses going on. You are doing an election with small amount of money. You don't conduct election with huge amount of money, and on the day of election, every business is cancelled, shut down. It affects the economy of that particular country. So this issue of saying it's not something I'm not tricked about, because Goodluck Jonathan did it in 2011. People said that Goodluck would not win. He won the election. Exactly. In Kaduna State, when people are making mouth, the 2006 census actually show where the population lies. And when Yakowa was contesting for an election, Yakowa only needed 2 local government governors to win, and he won. He emerged governor. So sometimes people have already mapped out their own population based on rigging election.
Thank you very much. You see, this Isuwa made a salient point here, Chibuzo. And if you see what he said, it is very clear that it is not about any part of the country having the voting strength above the other. But yet, you will discover that people say the southern part still has one particular problem. For instance, Akeredolu's outburst. Of course, he was speaking for the southern governor. So he's their chairman. And the likes of Badebanjo, their Ferry leader, Chief Edwin Clark, and the rest had also insisted that power must go to the southeast. The idea here is that if Akeredolu comes and say for justice, equity, and fair play, we now say he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. You are talking of power going to the south on grounds of equity, justice, and fair play, but within the south. there is one particular zone that has been crying that it has not gotten the presidency, which is the Southeast. You understand? And even at that, with the ferry leader from the Southwest singing it every day that injustice must be done, give that particular zone the presidency. Yet, politicians from the Southwest, like Kayode Fayemi, declared today, so Vice President Osibanjo has declared, the former Lagos State Governor has declared, and we keep seeing tomorrow the former governor of Ogun State, Ibikunle Amosu, will declare. So some Northerners say the South can't be talking of justice when they are not addressing the injustice in the Southeast. Alleging that the Southeast is actually claiming that it has been sidelined and that it has not gotten the presidency. So which idea of justice, equity, and fair play would Akere will be talking about? That's the problem with the South.
That's the irony. But it's neither here nor there. There are different debates going on about this whole thing. For those campaigning for the Southeast to get it, they say and they believe that the only way, or one of the ways that can be achieved, is for the political parties to agree some form of elite consensus arrangement within the political parties to say, okay, let's go to one region. Let's all go to one region. Let's come to that point where say, okay, everybody go, we are going this way. You understand? That kind of broad-based elite consensus across party lines. That is one argument. But there's also a mini argument within the APC. And that argument is that they don't want to see it as a broad thing, they want to see it as a party thing. That is where the next problem is. It's a party arrangement and not a national arrangement. And that is where people think the hypocrisy comes in. Because if you are saying it should be zoned to the South, in another breath, you're now saying no. The legacy parties should determine how it goes within the APC. Then why do you criticize those in the North who say we should look at our own party and not look at what Nigeria is doing? That is the PDP. Now. So that is where that argument is. But if you look at the hue and cry in the recent time, appears to have weighed in the direction of the Southeast, such that you have people who are not from the Southeast pushing for Southeast, presidency. You have the Ike Clarks, you have the Paya Debanjos, you have the Southern and Middle Belt people saying, okay, in the interest of just this justice and fairness thing has really had so much. These arguments are there, and when you have people from some other part of the country saying no, let this region get it this time. I'm not sure they're just saying it because of fairness, justice, and equity. I think they're also trying to factor in the question of competence. Because if you listen to the last expressions they made, I think it was Paya Adebanjo, who I've forgotten which of them, he said, of all of the people that are here, all of them from the Southeast, there is nobody there that has not proven capacity to do the job. So it is not a question of just saying, oh, give them because of this sentimental thing. No, give them because the people we have seen, they have the capacity and the competence to do the job. And so then if you want to go this other way and do the sentimental thing, it also plays the same thing. And the people with the capacity. Paya Debanjo was very clear. He said he has asked Tinubu, are you sure the president is going to give you? He said yes. Well, he told him, he said he wants to give you, yet he has told this person, he has told this one, he has told this one, he has told this one. The game plan is to split the ranks. But again, I do get the point when people say the South has to be clear about what they want to do. I don't know how that is going to happen. It's a good thing, it's already happening at some level. But I just pray they can, see it through, because at the end of the day, I think what the average Nigerian wants is a country that is safe, well managed, and inspires hope for the future. Because that is the bottom line. Then if the Southeast fits into that, which I do think they do, look for the best out of them and say, okay, do this job.
Well, it's what
They had something to
why we had yes,
wanted
of
to say
course,
something.
you will come into that, but before you do that, is what we are actually hearing, also getting feelers that the Senate President Ahmed Lawan has decided to up his game from being the number 3 man of the country to become the number 1 citizen. And the senators, they say, are divided over his plan to declare for the presidency. How true is this?
Well, you know that
This is one of the things that is even making the Southern brothers feeling agitated.
every citizen of Nigeria have rights to contest
Exactly.
the 2023 general election.
Exactly.
In that case, it's who me and you should be thinking of declaring.
Of course, except if you have somebody that will give you 100 million for the form.
No, but the other parties now.
Well,
The other
all
parties.
those parties, there is no party that you won't get nomination from less than 12 million.
12 million.
12 million.
Yes, because Accord Party is around 12 million. And ADC is around 12 million. So
I think PRP is even. I think PRP is the lowest. PRP is about 10 million.
That's why he's telling us that he has been a renowned journalist for all these years. He cannot afford even 12 million.
Not that I can't afford 12 million,
Yeah.
but I can't afford to waste
The 12 million.
No, the problem is not even about the issue
because no matter how competent you are, you know, see, the politics in Nigeria, either we like it or not, the elites have taken it to another dimension of money back politics. Will you be
the
able
governing
to fund
party
that
where the president
campaign?
belongs
Yes.
is even helping to encourage that money back.
That money back politics. So if we can be able to, you know, and it's something that we can't do away with it, because even the Electoral Act, they have to increase campaign spending by politicians. But I'm assuring you that the politicians will even exceed the threshold of the Electoral Act. It's just that INEC, EFCC, and some other agencies of government who are supposed to monitor these politicians are not doing their job. You know, so whether Lawan want to contest or not, you know, this government, everything happened. You know, if an Abdullahi Adamu can come out when other aspirants have been campaigning for over a year, spending money on billboards, but within
just a period of
few weeks, you know, Abdullahi Adamu can come up and become the national chairman of APC. Then you know that our politics have been thrown to godfatherism. Our politics have been thrown to a kind of politics that man no man. You know, and we can't continue in that situation. Well, Lawan have already denied that plot, but even though the allegations are very strong, we hope to see, because this Nigeria today, you can't predict
anything can happen.
Yes,
he gave a Jonathan like
so you know, has he bought the APC senatorial form? He has not. From my record, he has not. So you can't predict his next line of action. Or as Senate President, he wants to go and be an elder statesman, as he said earlier, that after leaving the Senate, he wants to go and be an elder statesman. So we hope
he can also be positioning for vice president.
Well, so nobody can predict, you know, because people that are positioning themselves to be vice president from the north, there are so many from all the regions,
of course.
You know. So this issue, all I know is that all these political parties, you know, their soul and body is to the south, and that is the fairest thing to do. Yes, if we are maintaining federal character principles in jobs, employment, in leadership position, why can't you continue with that? Or is it that now that the North have had 8 years, you that was saying that, okay, Yaradua did not complete his term, Jonathan came in, why can't Jonathan go and allow a Northerner to come and do the Northern term? And a Northerner have done 8 years, or will be doing 8 years. So why are we so, so careless about the unity of this country? Do you know what that will cost if a northerner, continue from Buhari? Honestly, no matter how that person plan to keep this country as one, it will be difficult for that person, and that person may not perform, because the country must be peaceful before you will be able to,
for governance to be at its peak.
For the interest of this country, let us, make sure that power shift to the south. And left to me, in political parties, it has already been provided there. If they are zoning their political parties' offices, they just zone it to the south or zone it to the north. Then if they zone it to the north, they will say, okay, this position is going to the northeast. The northeastern people will now go and say, okay, we are zoning it to this state. In that particular state, they will say, no, we have 3 senatorial districts. We are also zoning it to this place. So why can't we continue like that? If they say, okay, power should shift to the south, and the southern people say, okay, Obasanjo was there for 8 years, and Osibanjo is VP for 8 years, why can't we send it to the southeast? I think that will help in growing this country. That will help in the unity of this country. But if we allow politicians, they will put petrol and matches on this country.
Well, Chibuzo, I think in every discussion between stubborn defense of position and fearless discussion, there is a nexus of understanding, and that nexus is that Nigeria must be kept as one. And you see, even on the big issue here, we don't just analyze. Sometimes we always think of resolution of conflict and say that means that we should pass our own verdict, even though our viewers will see it as our own candidate opinion. And of course, I think that what Isu has just said there should be adopted as the opinion of the big issue. Nigeria must be kept as one.
Absolutely.
And then power should go to the south.
Absolutely.
For peace to reign.
Absolutely.
Well, that is the much we can take for today's edition of the big issue. Thank you for keeping tab with us out there. And of course, I'll thank our in-house analysts for addressing the big issue the way it should be. Join us same time tomorrow for another edition of this program. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. Thank you for